Aloha all, and welcome back to Let's Play Sly 2 Bandit Thieves. I'm Paper Mario Guy, and if you return to your hideout, you'll know now that we have planted all these bugs around the lumber camp that we can now hear Bison make some snide little comments about arpeggio. He even comments on the Canadian health system, so yeah. Anyway, so off screen I decided to do some pickpocketing, and while I was on my ventures I actually got quite a bit of items. Just to show you kind of what this area has to offer. You can get medium nuggets, which by that token you can probably get small and large nuggets. Topaz, sapphire, rubies, and a large necklace. You know, so obviously getting into some of the finer things. So we're gonna sell all these. 6 sapphires, so that's a pretty hefty thing, and we're up to 1858, which means that we can probably buy a few other things. So I think we're gonna buy Sly's new thing, and that puts us back down to 258. But now I'm pretty sure we have every Sly upgrade that's going to be available the entire game, so that's pretty swell. Alrighty, so what does this do? Thief reflexes. Alright, this is the knockout dive. Alright, I'm not getting rid of R2, not getting rid of L. Alright, I can get rid of L1. We'll get rid of L1 and mess around with this just to. Okay, this is just for like precision platforming, I think, or whatever. I don't know. It's a cool feature, so I'm gonna keep it on. Also, unfortunately, off screen, I collected another clue bottle, but like I said, not to worry, because I'm just going to make sure that I post videos of guides on how to get all the items in separate videos and stuff like that, so no fear there. And now we're going to go to laser redirection as Sly, and that should be the start of this video. Oh, the mean moose found me. Oh, the bear found me. Ooh. Oh, by the way, I off-screen got hit by the bear. Oh my good golly gosh, does it do a lot of freaking damage. It was nuts. It took probably, I'd say it easily took away a third of my health, if not probably half of my health. It was nuts how much it actually did. So if you see the bear, the cyborg, the evil cyborg bears, I wasn't joking around when I said that they're horrifying, and I think I mentioned it in episode 6 sometime, but they definitely remind me of the Ultimate Chimera from freaking Mother 3 and how scared I get when I see them. It's not a pretty sight. But regardless of whether or not it's pretty, we are now ascending up here to do laser redirection.
Detected what appears to be an ancient guide to log chopping that might be useful for the lumberjack games. Unfortunately, it's frozen deep in an ice wall.
How are we supposed to get to it? Wait for more global warming?
That industrial laser is used to cut through petrified logs. If it could be bounced out that window, with your help, I should be able to harness its energy to melt the ice wall and free the bug.
How do I redirect that thing?
There should be a switch on the other side of this wall. Throw it and then head outside.
Alrighty, so I believe that this is just some straight up nice platforming. I don't think it's anything really besides that. So hopefully our little our reflexes thing will come in handy. Let's see how jumping through. Everything just seems like the Matrix. But obviously, you can do it without that, so there's no worries. I think you might be able to move a little faster than, you know, oh wow, I don't want to die. I think you might be able to move a little faster. Like, I mean, I know it slows down time, and by that token, you know, Sly slows down himself, but I think Sly goes a little faster than everything else. But I guess don't quote me on that because I'm not 100% sure. Alrighty, so there's some bad guys, but not too many. So let's just make sure that we don't, you know, get caught. No! Poop. That was so dumb. You guys have no idea how dumb that actually was. I mean, you might have a good idea, but I don't think you guys truly grasp how stupid I feel now. I hit the wrong button, and that's literally the only reason that happened right there. I mean, also, I set myself up for that by falling off of this and getting burned twice, so that didn't help, but whatever. But I think this is pretty cool, you know, this little inside area. It's quaint. That's what I'll say. It's quaint. So I enjoy it. But let's get back down there, because that was retarded. Oh my god. I am just reaching whole new levels of just idiocy. Alrighty. So we're just going to skip past all those mean moose. We don't want to deal with anybody who's mean. I'm in a good mood, not a bad mood. Not about to get in a bad mood because of some stupid moose. Alright, so nice, well-placed ninja spire jump, and we're now on the other side. Ooh, what is this? That's not cool. Oh. Alright, there we go. Okay. I'm sorry for being so quiet, but I'm very, very nervous. Do not wish to die again. And I'm getting very close to being caught. Oh, there I go. That's called getting caught. And I'm gonna die. Damn it! I cannot believe that I'm doing so bad right now. Whatever. It's okay. Third time's a charm. I know I say that a lot, but it's always true. It's usually always true, so we're going to hope that it's true again. Alright, I'm going to speed this up. I don't know why I was doing my little slow things. There's so many ways that you can break this particular game, so I don't know why I wasn't doing that earlier. Oh, couldn't break it like that. Let's use our thieving moves to our advantage, you know, actually use the skills that we've acquired over the last game and, you know, 3/4. Actually, I'd say we're probably more than 3/4 of the way through the game. Chapter 8 isn't necessarily nearly as long as the other ones, so... Alright, so here we go. That's what I should have done the first time. Okay, so now we finally got to the lever, and we've redirected this outside of the window.
The laser's been redirected out the window.
And I'm assuming I couldn't have just climbed through this earlier, because if I could have, then I would have been real pissed, but it's okay. So, in my off-screen journey, doing some pickpocketing, I realized that I actually do quite enjoy this area. This might be my favorite area.
Now, to get that laser pointed at the ice wall, you'll need to alter its direction with the crystals I put in your pouch.
I see. I just walk to where the laser stops, place a crystal, and it'll bounce the beam to a new position. That log chopping book is as good as ours.
A very convoluted way to get at this log chopping book, but I guess we'll do whatever we need to. Hopefully we don't bounce it into our own selves. Alright. But yeah, I really like this area. I mean, I've always said that Chapter 6 and 7 were my favorites, but, you know, it's been so long since I've played Chapter 7 that, you know, I kind of forgot how much I actually did enjoy this area. And this is... I definitely say that this is my favorite area. It has that same Canadian, like, feel as the other one did, and I felt like they captured that really well in Chapter 6, but they just do such a good job, and, like, I don't know... Alright, I don't want to get caught again. But I don't know, this one in particular, they just... That's just Sly's strong point. They just have a way of, like, making everything seem... I mean, obviously it's an outlandish idea, you know, a raccoon jumping around, but I mean, in terms of, you know, realisticness, I guess, if you want to say, like, I could totally see this... I don't know, I'm saying this wrong, but... I hope you know what I mean. everything just flows naturally. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Everything just flows very, very naturally. Alright, so let's use this gliding thing. No, no, no. Bad monkey. God damn it. Alright, can I get it up in an alternate way? Because that would really make me happy if I could get up here differently. Nope. No. Why would that? Why could I do that? That would be stupid. That would be way too easy. Alright, so now I have to trek all the way back up there. Dodging mean moose and gruff geese and all these freaking people. But it's okay. No, you didn't see me. You... Oh my god. Alright, well, whatever. Anyway, so, I don't know if I pointed it out. You probably saw it. But if you are, planning on coming and getting, you know, all these clues early and, you know, actually doing it in time, not the very, why did I say that? The, vault. There we go. The vault for this particular episode is in the area that we just were in, that little lumber area. So I didn't point that out, and I felt like I should have, just in case you by chance did not notice it on your own, which is very likely. Alright, so just a few more little well-placed jumps, and we can get right over there. Alright, finally, there we go. And now we have to go all the way over here. I almost tried to jump on the laser as if it was a, as if it was like a tightrope or, you know, a telephone wire. But thankfully, I did not do that. Alright, so we have to go all the way over to that top tower thing, and I think this might be the last one, although I really have no idea. It's just an assumption I'm making. So, I've been meaning to ask... Now that we've basically, I mean, Area 8 is kind of cool, but I don't think that it's really going to be anybody's favorite. So I wanted to ask, you know, you guys, what is your favorite area so far? You know, we've seen Paris, we've seen, you know, Rajan's wonderful palace, we've seen Rajan's jungle, we've seen the two dark, gloomy Contessa areas, and then we've now seen two different areas of Canada, one with a lumber mill and one just, you know, the great wilderness. And I was interested to see, you know, what everybody's favorite area has been. I'm not necessarily saying story, or I'm saying, like, missions and plot-wise, but, you know, just in terms of actual areas, you know, what is your guys' favorite thus far? Because there have definitely been some great ones. And wow, this is actually a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. I really figured that it would have been, you know, close to being done, but... Alright, we have, like, the entire Jean Bison army on our tail, so let's try to make our way out. I feel like a safe bet for you guys that are being chased is just to go up high on, like, something thin, and you pretty much get away, I feel, without too much of a hassle. Most enemies will give up after you've ascended to, you know... any telephone wires or, you know, usually the rooftops are good. You know, the bigger enemies are not going to be able to get up on top of the rooftops, so you're definitely safe when you go on top of the roof. But, you know, the gruff geese and the, I can't think of the other ones, but they sometimes will chase you up high, but typically they don't. Alrighty, so where'd this laser go down to? Oh, straight down here. Alrighty. Ooh, it's a mammoth. Hi, Mr. Mammoth.
Stand clear, Sly. Something else is coming out of the deep freeze. I've never seen such a majestic creature. So full of life, so ready to live. So much for that. He's back in the deep freeze.
Okay.
Cheer up, pal. We got the log chopping guide.
Alright, wonderful. We got the log chopping guide, and yeah. But that took way too long, mainly because I failed twice. So I believe that I'm going to end it off here. Unfortunately, that poor mammoth is back frozen solid, but, you know, that's how life is sometimes. Sometimes you're just frozen for hundreds of thousands of years, and then you just get, you know, frozen, unfrozen, and then you get chased by a cyborg bear! No! No, 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 no.